Hello, classy people. It is Saturday. We're 1 week, that's right, 7 days away from the 151 running of the Kentucky Derby, and of course that Friday. My girls are going to be in town for sure, right? We've all caught the vapors. I'm sure of that. But anyway, as always, tip sheets are available. Please, please, please get your orders in. Everybody that has, thank you so much. Email us at speedking24@yahoo.com and/or text the office, 732-804-0637. I can tell you and show you how to pay for them and get them to you by email for sure on Wednesday the 30th, right? They're going to be out 2 or 3 days before. Now, they're $20 each day. Buy both. They're $35. Great way to support your Speed King. Well, we've been putting out a lot of different contents. Thanks so much for all the support and classy comments. And I saved this one, and I got a couple more I saved. I wanted to profile one of the Kentucky Derby runners, okay, as we have quite a few of them up to this point. And Grandee, right? Grandee for sure. The Todd Pletcher runner. Well, I'm going to tell y'all something, right? And I don't want to be a homer by no means here. But Grande does deserve a long and strong look. Now, he's flying under the radar. It's a Rapoli runner, right? Not bred and owned, but owned by Rapoli Stables. Everybody knows him, of course, and Todd Pletcher. And you don't see a lot of fanfare out there. But as I dug into this horse's pedigree and his last only 3 races, the only knock I could find on Grande is that he lacks experience. But when I went back and I looked more and more, his sire, who I love, CURLIN, who I believe should have won the Kentucky Derby. That's 2007. That's the year that Street Sense won it. He ran 3rd. He was steady. He was 5 wide. Then he came back and won the Preakness and ran 2nd in the Belmont Stakes and go on to win the Breeders' Cup. So CURLIN obviously is a horse that could get the distance. Now, let me throw this note in there. Also, journalism is by CURLIN. Now, again, people think I have a problem with journalism. No, I have a problem at 5-2 or 3-1 in a field of 20 when he's only seen 5 horses in each of his 3 graded races. I'm not saying that the horse isn't good or fast. I mean, that's obvious. But most of these horses have beat a 4-horse field where 2 of them probably shouldn't even be in the race. So that's my only knock with that CURLIN, the son of CURLIN, journalism. Not his talent, not his ability, not his sire. I'm just questioning how he's going to navigate those 20-horse field and at a short price. But the other CURLIN in the race, I think, deserve just as much attention. I kind of like this horse, right? One, I love the sire, and when you look at the sire, the grandsire is by Warfront, and the mare is Journey Home. Okay, now this horse obviously can get the distance. Obviously, journalism could get the distance. They're both by CURLIN because they go right back to Mr. Prospector, Raise a Native Dancer. So the distance isn't the problem, and the ability that CURLIN has passed on to his babies. Okay, but when you look at this lightly raced horse, okay, only 3 starts, and didn't start as a 2-year-old, neither did CURLIN. First start was in January of 2025 at Gulfstream Park, maiden special race, won that race. Came back in an allowance race at Gulfstream Park, won that race in February 27. Laid him off for about 5 weeks. April 5th, he went up to New York, Todd Pletcher's home track, or home state, of course, New York, at Rapoli, and went into the Wood. Now, when you go watch the Wood Memorial, again, I have no problem with Rodriguez. Obviously, he's the son of Authentic, right? I have shares in Authentic, and I have a rooting interest for Rodriguez. But I'm telling you right now, the Wood Memorial, Rodriguez had everything his way. He was on the rail. Grande was the 7 horse, I believe, was 5 or 6 wide into the first turn. A very troubled trip there. 6 or 7 wide down the backstretch, and turning for home, the horse was 5 or 6 wide and ended up running second. Okay, the enemy to horse racing is ground loss. So if you go back and you watch the first turn in the Wood Memorial, yeah, I mean, I know Rodriguez won, but he didn't. He's laid on the rail, and this horse covered more ground the entire race, and which means he would have to run twice as fast, maybe not twice as fast, but faster, and he was gaining. So if this horse could have saved any ground, he would have been a lot closer to Rodriguez. And I'm not sure if Rodriguez would have won that race. Now, that being said, the takeaway from the Wood Memorial, his third start, is how much more he progressed, right? Remember, he was coming out of an allowance race on February 27th when he walked into the Wood Memorial, a Grade 2 race. He jumped leaps and bounds. Now, the question is, how much more after the Wood Memorial, going into his fourth start, which is the Kentucky Derby, has this horse progressed? Now, you know, typically, you know, you have some buzz around Pletcher in the Derby, but he doesn't have one of the top horses as the public sees it or the print media sees it, right, or the electronic media sees it. He's quietly in here. Okay, now in the Wood Memorial also, Dylan Davis was riding the horse that day because Johnny V was over in Dubai for the Dubai World Cup or Carnival. Okay, and Dylan Davis picked up the mount. Now Johnny V, who's a winner of 3 or 4 derbies, is back reunited. Okay, so this horse should go forward off the Wood Memorial, which was his third start, coming out of an allowance race, now stepping up in here. His daddy won $10 million, CURLIN. And I've always said, and you've heard me say it, I believe that should have been Steve Asmussen's win in the Derby, as well as Gunrunner. But the horse came around and won the Preakness CURLIN and ran second in the Belmont Stakes and went on to win the Breeders' Cup Classic. So, hey, the daddy, if you're going to give some attention to journalism, well, at 15, 20, 25 to 1, you're going to have to give Grande some kind of thing, right? Because this horse is entering into this race off of a beautiful race, and going in, he only had 2 starts. So, reunited back with Johnny V, the Hall of Famer. And his speed figure is fantastic. Now, he's back in 4 weeks, so he should have been rested. I don't think it knocked him out by no means. He's a young horse. Okay? So, what I'm telling you is that this horse has speed and stamina, of course, to get to 10 furlongs. Okay? We don't have to look far there. His daddy is CURLIN. And on the back end, Warfront, grandsire. Okay, CURLIN goes all the way back to Mr. Prospector, Raise a Native, Native Dancer. Hello. Okay, so the distance isn't an issue. The only question is, how much seasoning does he have? Well, I know the Wood Memorial surely helped him for sure. Okay, and this is his 4th start in his lifetime, and he's going to be a huge price. A huge price. Okay, 15, 20 to 1, depending on how this thing goes. And it looks like one of the wise guys' horse may draw in because Tapan Street is now out, so they keep moving up. And I know everybody want Beza in, or Baeza, whatever the horse's name is, Baeza, right? Baeza. Everybody wants him in, and I think he's sitting right there now. So the next defection, that horse is going to get in, and he's going to draw money because he's a wise guy horse. I believe Grande is a serious contender in this race, particularly at that odds. So again, 4th race of his life, Big Wood Memorial, reunited back with his rider, Johnny V. They're flying under the radar in terms of, a lot of fanfare, and they're quietly going along. Okay? Now, okay, so, Todd Pletcher, Rapoli, Fierceness, and all that. Maybe, hey, no attention is being paid to them, per se. This horse is going to be a nice price on the board. And I love his sire, of course, trained by Steve Asmussen CURLIN, right? And you cannot convince me that horse should have won that Derby if he didn't have that trouble where he had to steady and be 4 or 5 wide. And you can't convince me that Gunrunner shouldn't have won it either. But the sons of CURLIN are very, very, their prodigies are very, very good. Okay, CURLIN's babies are very, very good. And journalism is very good. I just question the quality of competition he ran against across a speed favoring track in fields of 4, where probably 2 of them wasn't supposed to be in that race. They probably just filled the race with whoever they could, the racing secretary. So let's have a long and strong discussion about Grandee. Listen, don't let this one sneak up on you, Rapoli and Pletcher. Okay? That's an awfully good race. Go back and watch the Wood Memorial. He's number 7. He's 5 or 6 wide into the first turn, 5 or 6 wide, all the way down the backstretch, 4 or 5 wide coming home. Do you know how much more ground this horse had to cover? Okay? I can argue through my database that he ran a better race and probably would have won the Wood Memorial if he had had a better trip. Would we be having a different conversation? I think we would be. Let's take a look at this horse. Bloodline, can he get the 10 furlongs? You bet. Okay. Does he have a trainer that knows how to win? I think he won with Always Dreaming and somebody else, right? And Johnny V knows how to get these ones home the first Saturday of May. Let's pay attention. This horse is going to be a nice price, at minimum 15 to 1. By one of my favorite horses of all time, CURLIN, outside of Street Cry and Gun Runner and Thunder Snow, Godolphin horses, of course. You know, Thunder Snow is a Godolphin horse. Street Cry is a Godolphin horse. All right? But CURLIN and Gun Runner are very high, so anytime one comes up, I always pay attention. And please don't say I'm knocking journalism. I'm not. I'm knocking his quality of fields he beat and will he be able to navigate it at a short price on Derby Day. I don't know why I got to take 5 to 2 on anybody in the Derby, ever. You know what I mean? Not me. And then what post position? Go look at our post position video. If he draws number 17, post position is 0 for 0. They never won. And 18, 19, and 20 ain't very kind either in the winner's circle. So again, let's talk about Grande. I think this horse is a sleeper, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Todd Pletcher is flying under the radar, but he's not fooling your SpeedKing. I got my eyeball on him, the son of CURLIN. Please. I was born at night, but not last night. Stay classy, y'all. Get your orders in. And happy Derby week. Boy, this is always an exciting time for us, right? You got that. We caught the vapors. What's my vapors shirt?